Libra, beautiful soul, what if the pain you're about to feel is not a punishment, but a rescue? What if God is not breaking you, but removing what breaks you? This is not just another horoscope reading. This is a moment of divine timing. A sacred window that the universe opened specifically for you. You didn't land here by accident, and deep down, you know that. Something in your spirit pulled you toward this message, a whisper you couldn't ignore, a vibration you couldn't shake. Maybe your heart has been holding on to someone. Or something. For too long. Maybe there's a voice inside of you saying, something's about to shift. And you're right. Because today, Libra, the veil is being lifted. You're about to see something clearly, something you haven't wanted to admit, or couldn't. And yes, it might hurt. It might even bring you to tears. But what if that very heartbreak is what frees you? What if this blow, however tragic it may feel, is God's divine way of aligning you with something far better, far more honest, far more sacred? Let that question settle in. Now, take a breath with me. Slowly, gently. And as you do, ask yourself this: what am I being called to release? Is it a person? A hope? A version of yourself that no longer serves who you're becoming? This video was created to help you answer that. But more than that, to give you permission to let go without guilt, to grieve without shame, and to trust that the pain you feel now is not the end of your story. It is the clearing before the blessing. If something inside you is already stirring, if this message feels like it's speaking directly to your situation, I want you to claim it. Drop a comment below and write, "I am ready to see the truth and walk in freedom." And if someone you love needs healing too, feel free to include their name. As part of our Zodiac Whisper Tarot family, we hold space for one another, always. Let me also take a moment to express my deepest gratitude for you being here. Every single like you tap, every comment you share, every subscription you offer, it's more than support. It's an energetic contract. A spiritual yes. And it allows this channel to grow, so we can keep bringing messages like this one to those who need them most. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Your presence matters here. And believe me, Libra, you will want to stay with me until the very end of this reading. Because what the universe is revealing today is not just information, it's transformation. A spiritual intervention. A realignment of your soul's path. So tell me, Libra, what energy, what prayer, what silent longing do you think drew you here right now? Leave your answer below, and let's witness what's being born in this sacred space. Because this isn't just about watching a video. This is about stepping into divine awareness. Where pain has purpose, where endings are initiations, and where God never removes without preparing a greater arrival. Your turning point starts now. Let's begin. Sometimes the things we cling to the tightest are the very things quietly eroding the foundation beneath us. Not because we're weak or unaware, but because we're human, and the familiar, even when it hurts, often feels safer than the unknown. For you, dear Libra, the tower doesn't come as punishment. It comes as a necessary disruption. A sacred unraveling of the illusions you've outgrown. And if you've been sensing that something is coming undone, it's not your imagination. It's a divine correction. There is something deeply courageous about facing the moment when what you thought would hold suddenly collapses. The Tower card doesn't just signal loss, it speaks of liberation. The loss of illusion. The loss of masks. The loss of a version of your life that was never built to last. It's the kind of collapse that opens the window for honesty, clarity, and a rebuilding that finally aligns with your truth. Libra, your sign is ruled by Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and value, and yet, you often sacrifice your own balance to maintain harmony for others. But what if that very peacekeeping tendency has kept you in places that no longer reflect your worth? What if the situation crumbling around you is doing so not to hurt you, but to set you free from a role you were never meant to sustain forever? What you're experiencing may feel like rejection. It may feel like betrayal. But underneath the emotional weight, there's a quiet grace. A sacred redirection. The tower doesn't fall unless what stands upon it is unsteady. And rather than fearing the fall, you're being invited to breathe into it, to trust the space it opens, and to remember that what feels like the end is often the beginning dressed in disguise. You are not being asked to toughen up and hide your pain. You are being invited to soften into truth. To cry if needed. To grieve. To let yourself feel the full breadth of your emotions, not as weakness, but as sacred intelligence. Your sensitivity is not your flaw, it's your compass. And right now, it's pointing you inward. This moment is a mirror, Libra. It's showing you where you've given more than you've received, where you've hoped too long for someone to change, or waited for life to match a fantasy that no longer serves your evolution. But here's the miracle: when something false falls apart, what's true finally has room to rise. As you navigate this shift, remember you are not alone. We live in a world brimming with quiet miracles. You don't need a burning bush or a voice from the clouds to witness divine timing. Sometimes, God's intervention shows up as a closed door, a conversation that doesn't go the way you hoped, or a goodbye you weren't prepared to say. But just like rain softens the soil for seeds to grow, discomfort softens the heart to receive deeper truth. In the busyness of life, it's easy to overlook these subtle forms of grace. Yet they are no less holy. A text that never comes. A person who fades away. An answer that doesn't arrive when you wanted but arrives when you're finally ready. It's in these quiet pauses that faith is built, not in thunder but in stillness. So if the ground beneath you feels like it's shaking, Libra, it's not a sign of destruction, it's a sign of realignment. Let what needs to fall, fall. Let what's no longer true, crumble. You are not losing your foundation. You are returning to it. And though this stage may sting, you are stepping into a clarity that will never need to be torn down again. Now, I invite you to reflect. What illusion are you willing to release today in exchange for something real? Share your answer in the comments if you feel ready to step out of the false and into the sacred truth of your journey. There are moments in life when the weight of emotion feels too heavy to hold, and the only release left is the kind that flows from the eyes. Tears are not a weakness, Libra, they are a form of movement. In astrology, water is the element of emotion, healing, and intuition. And just like rivers carve through stone over time, your tears are carving space within you for clarity, softness, and ultimately, rebirth. You are not breaking down, you are being cleared out. The Ace of Cups reversed appearing in this reading isn't a message of despair, it's a sign that your emotional reservoir is full. Perhaps too full. You've held space for others, listened more than you've been heard, offered more love than was ever mirrored back to you. And now, your heart needs a moment to empty, to make room for what's truly reciprocal. This release isn't about drama. It's about detox. Emotional weight, when left unprocessed, hardens into bitterness or disconnection. But tears transform it into softness again. As a Libra, your natural instinct is to preserve peace, to stay balanced, to avoid rocking the boat. But when you're the only one pouring into a connection, into a dynamic, into a dream, and that flow isn't returning to you, your cup runs dry. This part of the journey is about acknowledging the imbalance without blame. It's not your fault that someone couldn't meet you at the depth you were willing to go. It's not your job to shrink your love to fit their capacity. If anything, your willingness to give, even when it hurt, is proof of the beauty that lives in your spirit. We live in a world that often teaches us to hold back, to stay strong, to keep smiling no matter what. But true strength isn't pretending everything's okay. It's allowing yourself to feel what needs to be felt. To sit with sorrow without rushing to fix it. To let your tears flow without apology. This is emotional maturity, and for you, Libra, it's the next chapter in your evolution. I've seen people who've tried to hold it all, and parents who put on a brave face, lovers who pretend they're fine, professionals who compartmentalize their pain until it leaks into every part of their lives. And then I've seen what happens when they finally let go. Sometimes it takes a quiet moment in the car, a whispered prayer in the dark, or a break in a routine day when something inside just says, enough. That's when healing begins. Not when things are perfect, but when we stop pretending they are. You're not being asked to collapse. You're being asked to cleanse. To allow the ache to run through you, because what's on the other side of grief is truth, and truth always makes you lighter. Think of this as your emotional rainstorm. The skies have grown heavy, and now it's time to pour. Let them. Trust that you will feel clearer once the storm passes. One of the simplest yet most profound daily lessons I've learned is this: when we carry more than we're meant to, life will find a way to help us lay it down. Sometimes gently. Sometimes through sudden moments we never saw coming. But always with the same goal, to bring us back to ourselves. So if today your heart feels tender, if your eyes well up without warning, don't shut it down. Feel it. Honor it. And when you're ready, you can write this affirmation to ground yourself. I am strong because I trust that what's happening is making room for something better. And if this message resonates deeply with you, share what you're letting go of in the comments, not as a sign of defeat, but as a declaration of freedom. You're not falling apart. You're falling into truth. And that is always, always worth it. It's natural to hope that the love you give will come back to you in equal measure. But Libra, part of your journey now is learning the sacred art of giving without expectation, and just as importantly, receiving without guilt. The Queen of Swords doesn't ask you to stop loving, she asks you to start discerning. She appears not to harden your heart, but to sharpen your insight. Her message is clear: protect your peace without closing your heart, and stop giving pieces of your soul to people who only ever show up with empty hands. Your capacity to love is one of your greatest gifts. As an air sign ruled by Venus, your love is refined, aesthetic, balanced, and generous. You are drawn to harmony and equality in all things, but here's the truth the stars want you to sit with: not everyone is equipped to love the way you do. And that is not a reflection of your failure. It's a reflection of their readiness, their capacity, their path. There's a point in every emotional cycle where we must ask ourselves, am I loving this person, this situation, this dream, or am I loving my idea of who they could become if they were finally able to love me back in the way I deserve? That question often stings. But inside the sting is the freedom to pull your energy back without shame. Learning to protect your energy doesn't make you cold. It makes you conscious. It means you no longer allow guilt to trap you in unbalanced dynamics. It means you choose relationships romantic, platonic, familial that pour back into you, not just take. It means you see that self-sacrifice without boundaries is not love. It's erosion. There's a wisdom that grows quietly inside those who have been taken for granted too many times. And that wisdom, Libra, is blooming in you now. You are being invited to remember that your worth is not determined by how much someone needs you, or by how much you've endured. Your worth is already intact, whole, radiant, untouched by the opinions of others. What you give to the world is valuable, even when it goes unrecognized. And from this place of inner clarity, you can begin to give more wisely, not to be loved in return, but because loving is who you are. Sometimes, we want so badly to believe that if we just give a little more, stay a little longer, hold on a little tighter, they'll change. They'll see our value. But often, that desire only delays the moment when we realize, the one who needs to change is us. Not to become less loving, but to become more selective. Not to become more distant, but to become more rooted in our own emotional truth. From a self-help and energy perspective, this is your pivot point. The energy you invest today will shape what you attract tomorrow. When you continue to pour your attention into people who are not emotionally available or energetically aligned, you are unintentionally signaling to the universe that you're available for more of the same. But when you pull back, even if it hurts, you send a new signal. I am ready for mutuality. I am ready for sacred exchange. I am ready to receive the love I give. You don't need to demand an apology or seek closure. Sometimes, healing is simply choosing yourself in silence and letting the story close softly behind you. You'll be amazed at what opens up when you no longer waste energy waiting for someone else to validate what's already true. Let this be your reminder that self-protection is a form of self-respect. And your worth? It's never been up for negotiation. If this resonates with you, comment below with the words, I am no longer waiting to be chosen, I choose me. Not every ending is a loss. Sometimes, it's a quiet invitation to begin again, not with a louder voice, but with a softer heart. After the tower has crumbled and your illusions have fallen, what remains is not emptiness, Libra, but sacred space. And in that space, the star appears. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It simply glows a small, unwavering light that reminds you healing is not only possible, it's already unfolding, even if you can't fully see it yet. This part of your journey is subtle but powerful. The star card, astrologically connected to Aquarius, brings the message of renewal through clarity. It asks you to lift your gaze not to escape your pain, but to recognize that after chaos, there's always a sky. Always a new breath, a new page, a new vision. Combined with the Justice card, your signature energy, this moment becomes even more meaningful. It's not just about hope. It's about rightful alignment. Truth returning to its place. Energy finally redistributing in your favor. When you've been through emotional upheaval, it's easy to lose trust in people, in timing, even in yourself. But part of your healing now is learning to trust differently. Not blindly. Not naively. But with discernment and grace. Trust that's rooted in your inner compass, not someone else's approval. It's about making choices from a place of quiet confidence rather than reactive fear. You don't need a grand external shift to know something has changed. You'll feel it in small, quiet ways. You'll notice yourself no longer chasing what once drained you. You'll observe your peace growing in places where there was once anxiety. You'll feel the difference between a yes that's heavy and one that's free. And that's where the star leads you into the subtleties of your own emotional liberation. From a self-healing perspective, this is the phase where you plant new roots. But planting requires gentle conditions. That's why it's important now to care for your vessel not just spiritually, but physically. Emotion and body are not separate. Hydration, movement, and even minerals like magnesium and zinc play a powerful role in balancing your nervous system. And when your nervous system is calm, your intuition speaks louder. Your thoughts are clearer. Your energy is steadier. You begin to respond instead of react. You begin to bloom again. Small rituals can ground your transformation. Morning walks under early sunlight help reset your mood and open your awareness to what's quietly shifting within. Writing in a journal even just one honest sentence a day allows you to track your growth, acknowledge your emotions, and rewrite your story in real time. What hurts today might become the very story that gives someone else hope tomorrow. Sometimes, the most powerful acts of healing are also the most ordinary. Drinking water. Stretching your body. Saying no without guilt. Letting silence speak instead of over-explaining. These are seeds of self-respect. And in time, they grow into a garden of peace. So if you're feeling like you're standing in the stillness after a storm, know this, it's not a void. It's sacred soil. It's where something new is taking root, something truer, something freer, something that reflects who you're becoming, not who you had to be in survival mode. The universe has not forgotten you, Libra. If anything, it's been realigning quietly in the background, preparing this moment all along. Your job now is simple, not easy, but simple. Trust the light is returning. And when it does, let it find you already healing, already choosing peace, already walking with your head lifted and your heart open again. Sometimes what looks like a delay is actually divine alignment. Libra, you may have been holding your breath, waiting for a shift, a sign, a solution that feels like it's taking far too long to arrive. But the truth is, the universe never shows up late. It arrives at the exact moment your inner world has made space to truly receive what's meant for you, not just emotionally, but energetically. The blessing isn't withheld out of cruelty, it's protected until you're strong enough to hold it with both hands and a whole heart. In this part of the reading, the card of blessing appears as both confirmation and comfort. Something you've been hoping for, perhaps quietly, maybe even thinking it was too far-fetched or out of reach, is much closer than you realize. It could take the form of an unexpected opportunity, the resolution of something legal or financial, or a soulful message that comes when you least expect it but most need it. Whatever it is, it will not arrive by force. It will arrive as softly and clearly as a door opening after a long walk through the fog. And that moment will feel like coming home. Astrologically, when we look at timing, we also understand that certain doors remain closed because we are still entangled with what doesn't serve us. That's why blessings so often come on the other side of surrender. It's not about giving up, it's about releasing your grip on what is already trying to fall away. And if you've done the hard work of letting go of a belief, of a toxic dynamic, of the illusion that your worth is tied to someone else's recognition, then this is your cue that space has been made for grace to enter. You might not even recognize the blessing at first because it will come in its own clothing, not as a dramatic flash, but as something that fits you so naturally it feels familiar, as if you've known it forever. That's how divine timing works. It's not rushed. It's ready. It shows up when your frequency aligns with what you've been asking for, not with your words, but with your willingness to let the old version of you dissolve. The universe always responds to your energetic clarity. That's why simple acts like drinking water when your body needs it, choosing to rest instead of performing, or finally saying no where you used to say yes, these aren't small. They're signals. They are signs to the universe that you are ready to care for yourself the way you wish others had. And in doing so, you create the foundation upon which the next chapter can build. I've seen this in real life more times than I can count. A woman who thought her legal battle would never end, it closed in her favor the very week she stopped obsessing over the outcome. A man who gave up on love entirely only to meet someone aligned just days after he began prioritizing his mental health. These aren't fairy tales. They're examples of how life moves when you move in harmony with your deeper truth. You don't need to chase what's meant for you. You just need to become the version of yourself that's ready to receive it. And that work, the quiet, inner clearing, is what you've already been doing. That's why this blessing is arriving now. On time. On purpose. Tailored for you. So take a breath, Libra. You're closer than you think. And if your heart feels ready, go ahead and write it down in the comments. I am ready for the next chapter of my soul. Because sometimes, all it takes to open the right door is the courage to say yes before you can see what's waiting on the other side. If you're still here with me, Libra, then something deep inside you already knows this moment wasn't random. It was designed for you. You were meant to hear these words, to feel these truths, to look gently at the pieces of your story and realize, nothing was ever wasted. Not the tears, not the waiting, not the letting go. Everything you've walked through has been leading you back to this version of yourself, wiser, softer, and more open to what's truly aligned with your soul. Sometimes the transformation doesn't come from lightning bolts or sudden miracles, but from the quiet decision to stop abandoning yourself. And that's the invitation here. To finally, fully, and freely choose yourself, not because you're broken, but because you're whole enough now to know that your peace, your growth, your energy, deserve protection and care. You've spent so much time trying to be understood by others. But maybe the most important thing now is that you understand you. That you become the one who validates your own emotions, who sets the tone for your own healing, who listens to your own heart first. I want you to take a deep breath right now, wherever you are. And ask yourself, what is one thing I am ready to release? What is one truth I am finally ready to claim? What is one new action I'm willing to take today that supports the version of me I'm becoming? You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need the courage to take the first small step in a new direction. And if that step is simply choosing to speak your truth in the comments below, then do it. Share your affirmation. Declare your shift. Even one sentence has power when it's rooted in your authentic voice. Maybe you'll write, I'm choosing myself today. Or, I am ready to receive love that feels like peace. Or simply, I trust what's unfolding. Whatever it is, let your words be the anchor that holds your energy in this sacred space we've created together. And if this message stirred something inside you, if it made you feel seen, heard, understood even just a little, then I invite you to help it find others who need the same. Like this video. Subscribe to this channel. Share it with someone who might be walking through their own season of letting go, of awakening, of finding their light again. Because what we create here at Zodiac Whisper Tarot isn't just a reading, it's a refuge. A family. A place where your healing is witnessed and your transformation is honored. Thank you for letting me be a small part of your journey today. Your presence here is a gift. Your energy matters. Your story is sacred. And no matter what chapter you're in, please remember this: you are never alone. You are deeply loved. And the universe in all its divine intelligence knows exactly what it's doing. Now go ahead, beautiful Libra. Step forward. Not into the version of life you were surviving, but into the life you're now ready to create. And if your heart feels it, write it down below. I am ready to choose myself. I am ready for what's next. I am no longer waiting, I am becoming. I'll be here, reading every word, holding space with you until we meet again.